Welcome back to Painting with a Purpose. Today I'm going to show you guys how to paint a llama, and this is going to be a party llama. So our llama is going to have some fun, fancy additions, and you have to decide what type of additions you want on your llama. The colors you need today is a spot of white next to your background color. I'm going to make my background blue, so I have white next to my blue, red, orange, pink, yellow, green, black, and then another spot of white, and this is gonna be your clean white for the end. Now, you have options of what you're gonna do today, so maybe these are not the colors you're going to use. The colors you have to have is a background color. You have to have 2 spots of white, and you have to have black. Everything else, totally your choice. The brushes I use a medium flat brush, and I use a medium and a small round brush. I always have a cup of water nearby to wash my brush, and I use a rag. I use the rag because I can reuse it many times before I wash it. So let's get started. For our background of our llama, we are gonna start with just plain white. So super successful, you're gonna get it right. We are gonna paint at a diagonal. A lot of times when you paint with me, we paint left to right, we paint horizontally, but we're gonna paint at a diagonal. So we're gonna paint half of our canvas white. So I'm going all the way from my corner spot, so corner to corner, everything up here at the top, that is all white. With my paintbrush still dirty, did not wipe it off at all, I'm gonna grab my background color. And like I said, for me, that's blue. And I'm gonna start right here along this edge, and I'm gonna paint my background all the way down to the bottom corner blue. I follow my diagonals all the way across. And I'm not gonna stop till I get up to that top corner up there. Pull these diagonals all the way, making really long brush strokes. And I'm gonna pull these lines all the way up to that top corner. And as I do this, it's getting lighter. Easy peasy, right? Now I'm gonna go the opposite direction. I'm gonna take those lines, because this is now smoothing out that color. I'm gonna pull those lines all the way down. Now when I start to notice that I'm no longer getting any white in my blue, I'm gonna wipe my brush off, and I'm gonna grab some more white, and I'm gonna start again. Pulling it all the way down. I do want a little bit of white in this area, so I wanna make sure that I do still have some on my brush. Again, if you run out, all you have to do, wipe your brush off and start again. I think that is a great background for my party llama. If this line right here where it's very dark and very light bothers you, all you have to do is just kind of take your brush at an angle, go up a little bit, pull it down a little bit, and what that will do is that will start to blend those colors a little better, so it won't be such a harsh line of dark to light. For me, it doesn't bother me a whole lot. I don't mind that. But some of you guys might want it a little bit more blended. So I'm gonna wipe my brush off, and I'm gonna get ready to paint my llama. Now, for my llama, I am going to remove some of my paint. To do that, I'm gonna take my paintbrush, get it really nice and clean with water, and I'm going to create a gigantic thumb. A gigantic thumb. If you look, my thumb's kind of wide. It's got a really nice curve to it. So I'm gonna create a gigantic thumb on my painting. To do that, I've got a wet paintbrush, and I'm going to draw a gigantic thumb. Now I'm going to take my handy dandy rag. I'm going to get it just a little bit wet. I don't want it dripping wet. And I'm going to wipe away the paint that is inside of my gigantic thumb. Now I don't have to get rid of all of it, so don't worry. I just want to get rid of some of it so that my paint color is nice and bright when I put it on. After I have it wiped off a little bit, I can use a dry spot on my rag And look at that magic that happens. It just pulls right off. You might need to have 2 rags today. You can use paper towels to wipe it off too, but I like to use my rags because I can wash them and reuse them. And I make so many paintings. I like to be able to reuse my rags. All right, here is my gigantic thumb. It's ready for a coat of paint. Here's how we're gonna do that. Wash my paintbrush off really well. Your hands might be messy. That's okay, I like messy hands. I'm going to take my white paint and I'm gonna paint it in. Now, you might have a little bit of blue show through or whatever your background color is. And don't worry about that because we are gonna be adding layers to this. We just wanna get a nice solid white layer down. Nice solid white layer on our gigantic thumb. Perfect. I'm gonna wipe my brush off. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add some texture. And to add our texture, we are going to use our medium round brush. Okay, our medium round brush, and we are going to use white paint. Okay, and with this white paint, we are going to make flicks. Flicks, flicks. It's all on the wrist. You got to just flick your wrist all the way down each side of our llama's head. So watch what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to flick, flick, flick. Some of your flicks are going to be longer. Some are going to be shorter. If you start to get background color in your brush, just wipe your brush off or let your picture dry a little bit. This is going to be our llama's hair. So we're just going to add little flicks of color, little flicks of white into our blue. Some can be closer, some can go more at an angle, some can be more pointed down. You know, llamas don't probably go to hairdressers very often, so their hair is kind of like my family's hair right now since we're on quarantine for the coronavirus. Our family's hair is everywhere. I try to cut it, guys, but I'm an art teacher, not a stylist. I'm gonna go all the way down. Now, if you notice, I did not put any at the top of the head yet. That's because we want to lay our ears out first. But before we do that, I'm going to take my flat brush and I'm going to smooth out these chunky lines that I made. I'm just going to go right here along this edge, smooth those out. There we go. Now we have a hairy finger. Of course, you guys know it's going to be a llama, but it looks silly right now. Let's lay out a couple more pieces of hair or fur on our llama. To do that, we're going to make some gray color. So I still have my white, and I've got this other white right here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of black to it to darken it up. So I want you to create a gray color. I don't want it to be super dark. Nice medium gray color. This will help for our llama's fur. That's a great medium gray color right here. Now that I have my gray color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my medium round brush. I'm going to put on my paintbrush half white and half gray. And on this llama, from about 2/3 of the way up, down, I'm gonna make these little squiggly wiggly lines. It's a very specific art term, squiggly wiggly. Now I do want my llama to look white, so I wanna make sure I have some white in there. But we're just gonna add some squiggly wiggly lines in here. Not going too high up. I'm just gonna keep adding this texture so it looks like we have some llama fur. I'm gonna wash my brush off and I'm gonna lay out where my llama's nose is gonna go. My llama nose is gonna go. I need to grab a little bit more clean white paint. Any point you guys need to grab more paint, all you have to do is pause the video and go grab that. So I'm going to make a slightly darker gray. So I've got my medium gray here I started. So I'm gonna grab some white paint, roll it off my paintbrush, grab a little bit more black paint. I'm gonna make a darker gray than I used for his fur. Darker gray, it almost looks the same. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more black, add it in. This is gonna be my llama's nose. Okay, his nose, his mouth, he's got a little bit of a darker space in the middle of his face where all of those features sit. So to do this, we are going to create a circle. I mean an oval. We are gonna create an oval, and that oval is gonna start about halfway between my fur and the top of my head. And that oval can go down into my fur. So my oval's going down into my fur. I'm just gonna kind of stretch those lines out and smooth it out. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit before I add anything else to it. Right now it looks like his mouth is open and he's yelling at us. Next, let's lay out our llama eyes. So our llama eyes are gonna be right at the top of our oval on either side. And I'm going to use straight black because my white's already a little bit wet. It's gonna turn into a really nice gray color. Here's how I want you to make your llama eyes. I want you to start with a circle. Looks crazy, right? That llama looks like he is a deer in headlights. Start with a circle. Once you have that circle on there, you're just gonna add a triangle on this side and a triangle on that side. You can paint the whole thing in. Smooth out those lines really nice. So again, I started with a circle. I added a triangle to this side, a triangle to that side, and I'm gonna smooth it out. Now, it's gonna be your choice if you wanna add eyelashes to your llama, because you have a decision. Is it gonna be a boy llama or a girl llama, or maybe a llama that doesn't have a gender? Maybe it's just gonna be a llama, okay? But if you want to add eyelashes or add like a mustache, or you can make your llama kind of funny. So let's go back and let's look at adding some more hair texture to our llama. So right now we've got all this space up here. How are we gonna add hair? I want you to put a circle with just the little bit of paint that's left on your paintbrush. Put a circle right there in the middle. This is gonna be where your llama's hair sprouts from. So with that medium gray color we made. If you need to make some more, you can make some more. That medium gray color, again, medium gray and white on my brush. From this point, I'm going to make little lines that sprout out from that area. So I'm gonna have a little hairline here and up there, over here. It kind of looks like he's getting a spider on his head. You see that? But these little hairlines are gonna go all the way around your llama's spot. Look, that one went into his eye, I like that. All the way around your llama's spot. And then your llama has hair on his head. Now, we have to talk about this space right here. We do need to bring up these squiggly lines now that we have that laid out, but I want them to be lighter. So I want you to use almost all white on your paintbrush with just a little gray. And as we go up with our squiggly lines, we want them to be lighter, and we don't want to bump into the nose. So you do have to be mindful of where your nose is. But as we get up closer to our llama's face, we want our lines to be brighter and whiter. You might have to be really careful around your llama's eyes. So what is our llama missing? Well, a nose, a mouth, and of course llama ears. Let's go ahead and lay our llama ears in there. With my round brush, I am going to create my llama ears. Now llama ears are pretty easy if you just start with a line that is straight on both sides. Look at that. Now he looks like he's got antennae. But we're gonna turn these into half ovals. So I'm gonna just take my paintbrush and make a small half oval on it. Small half oval. And I can paint those in. Now I've got some llama ears. If I went over any of my hairline, I can go back and add some more hair to kind of cover up some of my llama ears. All right, let's talk about our next step. We need to give our llama a nose. Now, I prefer to add a heart-shaped nose to my llama, and that's something easy you could do with your finger. I know my finger is super blue. But if I take black paint on my finger, okay, and I'm pushing that paint around to make it nice and evenly spread on my finger, watch what happens. At the top of my nose, I can just press my finger down and move it at an angle. If I do the exact same thing this other direction, magic happens. We get a great heart. Did you know your finger makes a great heart? Well, now you do. Let your finger make that great heart for your llama nose. Now I'm gonna grab my baby brush. I like to use my baby brush for detail lines. If detail lines make you nervous, you can always grab your Sharpie when you're finished. So now that I've got my llama nose on there, I'm gonna give my llama his little J shape right here. And I'm gonna do the opposite J shape on this side. Look at a happy little llama. I'm gonna flip my paintbrush around and I'm gonna use the plastic back end of it. And with that, I'm gonna add little polka dots. Oh, my finger's hitting that. I'm gonna add little polka dots. Since I've already got that paintbrush out, I can add some white to his eyes to give it just a little highlight. I'm gonna do a big polka dot and a small polka dot. A big polka dot and a small polka dot. My llama's really coming to life now. So let's add a couple more details. First things first, we're gonna darken our llama's chin up a little bit. With my round brush, still dirty, I haven't cleaned it off yet, I'm gonna grab the smallest amount of black and I am going to, just right here on the bottom of his chin, I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow. So right there along the bottom of his chin, I'm just making a little bit darker of a shadow. And then just above that llama's nose, I washed my paintbrush off. Just above that llama's nose, I'm gonna add a little bit of white. Now, I believe I am going to add some eyelashes to my llama, but you have to decide what you want to do with your llama. So I am going to add some eyelashes to my llama. I'm going to take my skinny itty bitty black paintbrush, and I'm going to, right here at the edge of my eyeballs, make a couple little swooped lines up. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I am going to show you how I'm gonna make my big llama, but then I'm also going to show you how you can create your llama to look different. So if you are not going to make your llama like mine's gonna be a party llama, then what you can do is you can fast forward it until you see the picture where there are 3 llamas in a row, and I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to make a llama. But here is my party llama. I'm gonna start with my round brush, it's clean, and some pink paint, and I'm gonna give my llama 2 necklaces. One right here, wiping my brush off in between, and one going this way, wiping my brush off in between. The reason I'm wiping my brush off is that my paint is still wet. You can paint on top of wet paint, or you can let it dry in between. And then I'm gonna give my llama some little beads on her necklace. So with my finger in my red paint, I'm gonna make a couple of red circles. I can wipe my finger off really good. I can do some yellow circles. Now I'm putting mine in a pattern, but you do not have to have yours in a pattern. You can have yours be very random if you want. And then I'm gonna put some orange circles. I'm also gonna give my llama some flowers in her hair. And those flowers are going to be just one flower right here in the center, or on the left. And I am, of course, gonna use my finger for that. If you've ever painted with me before, you know that finger painting is my favorite. So I'm gonna take a lot of yellow paint. Look at how much yellow paint I have on there. And I'm going to make a circle right here on my llama's head, a nice big circle. I'm gonna wipe my finger off and I'm going to grab both white paint and orange paint, and I'm gonna go right on top of that and do the same thing. Perfect. Now that I've got my flower in the hair, I'm gonna take my paintbrush, wash it off really good, and I'm gonna add a leaf or 2. Now I like to use lime green, so I will take a little bit of green, roll it off in a corner, and a lot of yellow. Mix those 2 colors together to get a nice lime green color. Your leaf does not have to be lime green, but lime green is my favorite color. And I'm going to add a leaf right here. Just look, it's a frowny face mixed with a smiley face. Frowny face mixed with a smiley face. I'm gonna put 2 of them, one there And here. I'm gonna wash my brush off. And I'm now gonna go back in with my dark green, my straight green. This is straight out of the bottle kind of green. And I'm gonna add just a small little shadow to the bottom corner or to the bottom line. I like to blend colors a lot. I'm gonna pull it all the way up. This is just like what we did with our background. I'm adding some dark to the bottom line. I'm just slowly pulling it up to the top. Wash my brush off. I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to use a little bit of red paint. And I'm going to make a couple of small circles with my paintbrush. And I like that the white is mixing in. That way I don't have to mix it. I'm just going to make a couple of small red circles. These are going to be smaller flowers on this side. This one right here I'll make a little bit bigger. And I might put a couple over here too. See, she's ready to go to a party. Now, if you did not have any white mix in with your red, I do want you to take some white. Don't mix it all the way. We're not going for pink. What we're going for is a mix of white and red. So it looks like we've got red roses and a gigantic yellow rose. Use a little bit of black paint to make some polka dots in my rose. Now, let's finish our llama's ears. You have a choice. You can make your llama's ears pink on the inside. You can make them gray. I'm going to make my llama's ears gray. So with my medium brush, my gray paint, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna make little lines. I want it to look as though there's hair inside my llama ears. So I'm just using little lines inside of that llama ear to fill it up. Little lines inside of that llama ear to fill it up. Maybe you want to give your llama some earrings. Last thing we're gonna do to our llama is we're gonna add some background polka dots. Now your background polka dots can be any color you want. I'm going to make mine yellow. So medium brush, your finger in paint. I'm gonna make some polka dots throughout the whole back of my llama. Because remember, she's going to a party. Can't you tell by her outfit? Totally going to a party. If you do not like finger painting, you can always use a wine cork or the end of an eraser. Make some of my polka dots even fall off the canvas. Last thing you have to do before you're allowed to clean up your space, make sure you sign your name. I always put my initials in the bottom right corner. And remember, we're doing free painting classes to help people stay creative and safe while they're at home during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm an elementary school art teacher out of Southern Indiana, and I miss my kids. This is my way to give back to my community and artists everywhere. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a great day.